everything overused can be abused. Now, as you know, I've worked for all my children. Every day I would write an episode, and every episode had at least 25 different characters. So as a writer, I had to know how 25 different people thought, act, and talked. So when I went to go write my book, Standing Ovation Presentations, I created my own personality types called actor types. So I want to share with you 4 of the actor types right now so that you can identify and own where you are now and see what you might want to tweak to become the star of your show. Now, there are no good or bad actor types. There are no better or worse actor types. They are, again, based on your nature and your nurture, who you are. So let's go first with the hero. The hero is charismatic and energetic. You know, they walk in the room and everybody's eyes are on them, and they have all this power, and they love being seen. Now, as wonderful as some of the qualities of all these actor types are, they all have these fatal flaws because everything overused can be abused. So if you're overusing your charisma and your energy and all of that, what happens is you start looking and seeming invulnerable. And people look at you like you think you're all that. You have no empathy, and you have no vulnerability, so people are not as drawn to you as you think. Then we have our buddy, who's dependable, friendly, and supportive. They just want everybody to get along. What's the fatal flaw with a buddy? They get seen as a pushover. They don't like to ask for what they want. They are overlooked often because they always just want to be nice and kind. Next, we have our whiz kid. Whiz kid is data-driven, analytical, precise. They've never met a spreadsheet they didn't love, and they just want to get everything right. And of course, with the whiz kid, what happens is people can find them really cold, and they can start to think, oh my God, what are they talking about? They just start drowning in the data, and people can't interact with you. You don't have a relationship. Last, let's talk about the superhero. The superhero is that strong, forceful, direct. They want what they want when they want it, and they don't want to hear anything else. They just want you to get it done. And the downside or the fatal flaw of the superhero is that people are scared the heck out of them, and they run away, or they don't do it, or they get passive aggressive, or they quit. So those are our 4 actor types. And I want you to think about it, because everybody is a mixture of actor types. You never just one. But there is a primary actor type, and that primary actor type usually comes out when you're under stress. So I want you to think about these 4 types, and think about what your primary type might be at work. How do you show up at work when you're under stress? And think about how you can own the good parts and how you might need to hone the parts that are your fatal flaws. Now, owning that is one thing, and we're talking about owning and honing, right? So in order to hone, you might have to borrow some of the traits from some of the other people, and that's when you become a superstar. How can you become a superstar like Meryl Streep? Meryl Streep can be any character at any time that the director wants because she knows what is called for. And so one of the jobs of being a great leader, being a star, being a good writer of your own story, is to strive to be the superstar communicator and to be able to take what is necessary so that when you're seeing somebody who needs something else, you can pull back on your superhero-ness and give them what they need. Now, before we can write for any soap opera, we had to study something that is called the show Bible. The show Bible is a history of everything that's ever happened on the show. How many times a character was married, how many times they died and came back to life, who has an evil twin, all of those things were in the show Bible. The thing is, everyone has their own show Bible. Their actor type, their personal history, their experiences, what triggers them, the clay that covers them. This is all in their show Bible. And unfortunately, I was paid to study the show Bible of the show. We do not study each other's show Bibles. We don't take that time. And that's where sometimes our communication gets lost, because people won't hear or do what you say until you see and validate who they are. People won't hear or do what you say until you see and validate who they are. So knowing what your actor type is, then you want to study what other people need, how you can validate their type, how you can see them. So when I gave you the ideas of who the actors and the actor types were, I'm sure you started thinking of people on your teams or people that you interact with. Oh, they're like this or they're like that. So I want to give you a little bit of tips on how you can interact with the different actor types. So if you're dealing with a hero, now heroes, correct me if I'm wrong if I give these things, you want to speak with energy and enthusiasm. Heroes do not like to feel like they're wasting their time, and they like energy. They like visuals. They like analogies. So if you've got a hero on your team, if you've got a hero client, make sure that you use that energy, use those visuals, use those analogies. Acknowledge their skills. If there's somebody, a colleague, tell them how great they're doing at this or that. If you're working with a buddy, make sure that you build rapport with them. Do not just walk in and say, hey, I need this. First thing the buddy's going to think is, oh, they don't like me. What did I do wrong? And then they're going to spiral down into this, oh, woe is me. They're going to get passive aggressive, not going to get to do anything that you ask them to do because they're not going to hear it because you don't like them. Build rapport. Get them involved. Ask them to do things. Ask their opinion. They love to be involved. They love to collaborate. Then share personal stories. I like to share those personal stories with you so that they can feel that you are getting along. Then we have our whiz kid. Of course, with a whiz kid, you have to be very clear, very specific, very organized. Every T needs to be crossed. Every I needs to be dotted. And if you make a mistake, that whiz kid is just going to judge you, and they're just going to think, you're an idiot. And they can't help it. It's not like they're judgmental. It's just that we think, okay, it should be right. And if it's not right, then there's something wrong with that person. That's what most people who don't take the time to really understand types will be doing. And minimize small talk. Whiz kids could care less about your children. They're just going to, they might, I'm sorry. But they're more important with what is getting done. And then lastly, similar to the whiz kid and some of the superhero, you want to get to the point quickly. I don't need to know how the widget is made. I don't need to know the ingredients or the everything else. All I want to know is, does that widget work? If it works, great. Let's go with it. So do not give the superhero any more than that. Talk to them about the results and don't beat around the bush. Owning and getting together with all of these types and qualities is a challenge, but you can do it.